So, Inquisitor Zan has donated. They say, Toom and boom. Long-time Vod Gobbo here, emerging from the pile to show off my project pearls.
Ooh.
My group plays 5th edition 40k and 6th edition fantasy. So I made an army I can play in both. Witness my goofy old demons. 6th edition fantasy might be my favorite version, actually. Content not available in your region.
Oh, Edgar.
I'm sorry, we're not grown up enough to look at Edgar anymore. The UK government has decided we're not to be trusted. So we cannot see your goofy demons.
Protect our childlike minds.
If you had to pick, someone's about pulling a gun on you and says, what's your favorite version of each? You have to play one now. What would it be?
What's the difference between 5th and 6th ed?
Good question.
Is which one was cavalry and which one was infantry? Or was 7th ed infantry? And was 6th ed cavalry? Or was 6th ed monsters? Because the wheel turns back.
The wheel does turn. 8th was monsters and magic. 7th was demons and vampire counts.
Oh, is that when you did was that Death Stars?
Yes.
7 was Death Stars. Okay, so 6th was just like heavy cav was king.
Yeah. So which one was which? 6th ed, was it? No. Was it this? I feel like this was... Oh, no, this was 6th edition. I thought this was 5th.
I thought that was 5th edition. Or was it still the same book, just with like updates?
Because what was Goblins and Dwarves?
I feel like Goblins and Dwarves was 6th edition. But maybe I'm wrong. 6th was Skull Pass. Yeah, because then 7th was the island with...
Well, this is saying this is 7th.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, okay. And then... So then 8th was Skaven and High Elves.
Skaven and High Elves. So this is 7th. So...
Okay, so 8th was monsters. Monsters and magic and Death Stars were king. And small units were crap. I feel like this... I don't think there was a huge difference between 6th and 7th edition. They were very similar. I think the army books were cross-compatible.
Yeah. They were cross-compatible, but they went from... In 7th edition is when they put Horde...
No, that was 8th.
Was that 8th? Oh.
Yeah. Where you could go double wide for extra attacks. That was definitely 8th. It just came down to the army books between these two, really. I think the core rules were almost identical.
So these were the two... This is when I played the most Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah, same.
And so either of them. 6th ed to 7th ed.
7th ed had stronger army. But the army books that came out in 7th were just like a lot stronger. I remember that. So maybe 6th is I prefer because the power level was lower.
Yeah, I think that probably makes sense. But I think also when we were doing 6th ed, we were filled more with just like we were playing stuff because we thought it was cool.
Yeah, I've got the stuff that I've got.
Yeah, and so the armies were a little bit more bonkers.
So what about 40k?
I don't know. I feel like some of the most fun I had in 40k.
I think 4th for me.
What's the difference between 3rd and 4th? Those were
4th added running, like advanced moves.
Oh, okay. To be honest, I think I was basically done. I think it was maybe the end of 3rd, maybe going into 4th, that I stopped playing 40k.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't like it as a game compared to fantasy.
Yes, fantasy was much better game. Absolutely. Yeah, I think I stopped playing when 5th came out. I definitely never bought this box.
Because what was the 4th ed box?
It was McCrag. I also didn't buy this one.
Oh, okay.
It was a much smaller set, but that Crash Lander was cool.
Yeah, that Lander was amazing.
This Space Marine Codex was cool because it was the one where it didn't have different rules for different chapters. It had a build your own chapter thing in the back.
Oh, that's fun.
And the more perks you took, you had to take, I forget exactly how it worked, but if you took like a good perk or 2 small perks, then you had to take like a downside. Or you could just take 1 perk for free.
Yeah.
And then you could just theme it up any way you liked. And there was like 20 different things to pick from. I thought that was really cool because then you could play whatever, paint them whatever way you want and use whatever rules you wanted. Because you were just like, well, this is the 5th company and they like to melee or whatever.
Yeah, that's fun. A fun idea.
That was cool. I wish they'd brought that back. Yeah, I'm going to say 4th. But that's because I didn't play anything else in 40k until it went all the way up to whatever 8th was when I got back in to give it another try.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were in the new office when 8th came out. And we all kind of like dipped our toe into the water.
Yeah.
Fucked around for a bit and then it was like 10th really. Then when we came back and actually
gave it a proper go. Played like 5 or 6 games.
I think like that era, is that 3rd?
That's 3rd, yeah.
Maybe it's just because that's when I played the most 40k. But I liked it a lot. Also, was City Fight in 3rd or was that in 4th?
Yeah, that was basically all the things were in 3rd because 3rd lasted for so long.
Like
the Eye of Chaos or Eye of Terror, whatever it's called, that campaign, that was 3rd.
That was my favorite one. I think like when we played like because there was like the City Fight campaign type thing that you could do. Like I think that was the time I had the most fun playing 40k. And then just going back to like playing it regular was like, this game just isn't as. It's just not Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah, but Warhammer Fantasy, like maneuvering was so important. You could actually like, I felt like you were playing a game, not just like going through the motions.
Yeah.
I remember
exactly.
After I played a few games of 40k in 3rd, it just felt like, well, once the armies have been picked and they've been deployed on the table,
you can generally read.
You know how it's all going to go.
What's gonna happen? Unless someone really spikes dice, like gets really unlucky, you can generally like see how the trades are going to go down.
Definitely. Naren Lord has donated again and says, I want to make a Bellacord attachment and thought him pulling troops from everywhere, especially as there is no color scheme for his troops. So I wanted to make my chosen Fallen Blade veterans, for example. But mixed colored units, bad look? Question mark. It's tricky. I mean, you definitely want to get the basing identical.
Yeah.
That will help a lot. And I think you want to keep like the tones similar. You can have different colors, but you want a consistent color through all of it, even if it's not the main color. Like all their robes and trim and flags and stuff to be the same, or something like that.
Yeah, I think if you think of like tone, then you can have like a bonkers brigade that will look good. So imagine like take a photo of that unit, change it to black and white, and if it's almost like you can't tell that they're different colors, then they are gonna blend together like a lot better.
Yeah,
but if you have some are really bright and poppy and some are really muted, it's gonna be.
Well, like because Eldar manage it, don't they? All their units are different colors.
Yeah,
but they're all the same kind of vibrant, bright color.
Like that kind of consistency.
That it works. I mean, I would definitely consider using like a lot of washes and making it so that even if you've got a blue and a red thing together, they're both kind of dulled down and muted.
Yeah, the moment you hit everything with that that kind of vibe.
That's what I watched a video about color theory, and they were saying about how the Avengers Endgame final battle, the reason why that's backlit so hard is so that everything looks grey, and then you can have all the heroes.
Oh, and it doesn't look
fucking stupid having
too fucking wild and out there.
And I just made perfect sense. I hadn't even considered, giant green guy next to orange guy next to blue guy.
Like it just gets so just wild, poppy, and colorful.
Yeah.
Like the olden days when you get some real
every unit was a different color.
Bonkers, multicolored stuff.
The second edition orc armies used to look like that because they'd have one unit of bad moons and one unit of red boys. This army looks cool. I want to see some pixels for it. For a website that's all about pictures, they don't half make the pictures look shit.
But do we have to be logged in? Is that the only way we can zoom and enhance?
Yeah, with Chaos Demons, they are all bright, different colors. But like I say, you mute them a little bit. You go for like less vibrant versions of those colors, and suddenly the blues, greens, reds, and purples won't look so wildly different if they're all a bit desaturated.
Also, I think like when you have like a Chaos Demon army, and there's a unit of pink horrors next to some plague bearers, and then some bloodletters and some demonettes. Like that army to me always looks too disparate. Like it's just a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't ever like feel like you have that unifying factor of them being demons unless you suddenly go in with like a fixed color scheme across them all.
You can pick you can do all the horns and claws and
Yeah, so you
like
can
the
suddenly
secondary color of every
the
unit
moment you
can be the same.
have something like that. But yeah, if the skin tones are too like different,
I see what you mean. Yeah, I wouldn't go for the high vibrancy like pink and greens next to each other. But if you really mute them and it's just kind of like everything's kind of brown leaning one way or the other.
yeah,
You can pull it off, but it's not easy, I suppose. I used to see it with Empire armies back in the day as well, because they'd have painted up one unit from each of the different elector states, and you'd have here's the yellow and black guys next to the blue and red guys.
Yeah, I think it's a bit wild.